Well, hello everyone, and I am so delighted that you're here with us because I am delighted. Once again, I find myself at this magnificent, beautiful, beautiful venue, Riverside Theater. You may not have been in this particular room, but some of you might have. But I can tell you, I'm sitting here with two of the leads, two actors, and one actress, one actor in South Pacific. Oh, can't get better than that. I say that all the time, but in this case, of course, it is so true. Let me welcome Heather Botts. Heather, it's wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
And of course, David Hitzinger.
Well done.
I got that right.
Yes, you did.
All right. Well, it's so much fun to have you here. And of course, knowing that I'm looking right there, considered one of the greatest musicals of all times. Do you all agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you love it? Have you played in South Pacific before, Heather?
This is my first time.
First time.
Nellie Forbush, yes.
And David?
Many hundreds of times.
Well, I have to say that I'm so anxious to talk to you once again about your world of opera and now, of course, being on stage with South Pacific. But before we do that with you, David, I want to talk with you a little bit, Heather, and get a little bit of your backstory because you're playing a very important part in South Pacific. Mm-hmm. Tell me about it and tell me exactly how you put yourself in to this lead part.
As far as the audition process? Or
No, just in
how I prepare for the role.
You got the part, yes.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I've been thinking about this role for many years, since I think LCT did the production years ago, because I am very fond of Kelly O'Hara and her work. I think she's a beautiful, beautiful actress. And then, you know, of course, her replacements were also really exquisite. And then when the opportunity presented itself to audition for the role, I was very excited. I've been singing Cockeyed Optimist for a decade.
Isn't that terrific? Did you start singing when you were just a little tiny
just
child?
Just a little thing.
And somebody
church,
said,
yep.
oh, good.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, church musicals, that's how I started out. I think I was 8 years old and had my first solo. So, but gosh, I mean, there's just so much preparation and so much work, technically, just to dive into the material, the script, and the music, and then also to think about that time in the world, what's going on, how it shapes and molds characters and their choices, and how they grow and what they've seen. And you can get really deep into this character and think about everything she's seen as a nurse in the war.
Nellie Forbush, is that right? You are playing that very important part of South Pacific, and I guess we all walk out, as we do every time we come to a wonderful performance here at Riverside Theater, and we walk out with our mouths just dropped open because of the magnificence that we see on stage there. So we're really looking forward to that. And I want to get back to you in just a moment after I talk with David and talk a little bit about where you live when you're not on the road. But David, I want to talk to you once again, only because I love your voice. Wow, because it's opera. How do you change yourself from opera and then into theater?
Well, you know, you could pose this question just as easily to Heather as myself, because she started in the opera as well.
Really?
And
how
so
terrific.
I think that training, I won't speak for her, but I think that training only helped me. And crossing over into the musical theater was something that better informed my operatic performances and made them more real, more invested, I took more risks. They were riskier, and so my life has been changed from when I first did this in, what was it, 2008 or 9.
Well, you do have this lead part, and of course, I'm going to have you pronounce your name again. Emile
Debec.
Okay, Emile Debec. You say it so beautifully. It's really because I want to just keep hearing your voice.
It's great.
But this is a very important part as well, and there is so much for all of us to understand about really the background of this show. And incidentally, I want all of our viewers to know that this particular fabulous performance on stage at Riverside Theater is February the 18th through March the 9th. And I always say, you know, it's so popular, everybody's so excited. They're around singing all over town, South Pacific. But to get to know you all, so many people love to sit in that audience and say, oh gosh, did you know that guy up there on stage did this and that and this and that? So tell me a little bit about your backstory. I know it's opera, but when did you become interested in theater? And tell me about your part in South Pacific.
Well, I started singing very early. I was a boy soprano in the Episcopal Church, much like my son is now. from there, piano and played trombone and was very active in sports and loved politics and was on a very different route than the one that I ended up taking. And when I was in college, I was playing soccer, and I was on a soccer scholarship. And then I basically left that world and decided there was something missing, and what it was music and all the things that I had done prior to my being in college, and summer stock and musicals, and took a solfege exam for the music department. And they said, "You have a nice voice. Have you ever tried singing, in the opera?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, we will give you a scholarship if you join the opera department."
Boy.
And so I did.
That is so true, because you have played in so many wonderful, wonderful shows. And of course, are both of you living in New York now?
Yeah, more or less.
And so, but you get out on the road and you come to this magnificent spot of Vero Beach, to this beautiful theater, the Riverside Theater. And of course, I have to ask you, what do you think about this theater?
Oh, it's gorgeous. And I mean, what a better place to be inspired. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, I know. And David, you know that I can't believe it. We only have 2 minutes left. And I want to really let everybody know about South Pacific. What's your favorite song in South Pacific?
This Nearly Was Mine.
This Nearly Was Mine.
That's
Oh, isn't this wonderful? But it is so important. We think of Mary Martin, we think of so many of those wonderful actors and actresses, but there is nothing better than to have you all come to this community and do your thing right here on stage at Riverside Theater. Very quickly, though, what's next for you all? And don't tell me you're going to go do your laundry, because that's what somebody answered me the last time. Where do you go from here?
Back to New York. And
Audition?
Mm-hmm.
All right, David?
Kennedy Center.
Kennedy Center, all right. In this last minute, tell me, though, what you want those people in the audience, when they come to see this beautiful performance of South Pacific, what do you hope that they have learned and gained from it?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I think just how powerful the story is about growth and acceptance.
Acceptance, that's the word. What would be an important word for you, David?
Wow, I would say acceptance is a big part of it, but I would like to see the reflection, the people in the audience, to see what a great country we live in, and how when we're under duress or at war, or the country is stressed, it seems like we're at our best.
Oh, you all have made it for me, I can tell you. I can hardly wait, and I want everyone out there to know that this is Riverside Theater. I tell you every single time, it is one of the best. We are so proud of our Riverside Theater. This is South Pacific, running February the 18th through March the 19th. You can call the box office, the number's on the screen. And remember, as I say so frequently, it is truly better than Broadway. Oh boy. David, and of course Heather, thanks so very much. And I'll say it to you all too. Break a leg.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks to all of you for being with us.